Well, it's no secret that I'm a fan of the Harley-Davidson Sportster. And before you start typing in the comments, I am aware that it sucks at accelerating, braking, cornering, being smooth, being light, riding on the highway, carrying a passenger, having a comfortable riding position, being reasonably priced, keeping up with a Japanese 300cc bike on a twisty road, or impressing anyone on a Dyna, Softail, or touring Harley. In fact, the Sportster is only better than any other currently produced motorcycle at one thing: being a Harley. Yes, I said it. And before all the Dyna Bros, Softail cruisers, and Iron Butt touring crowd get their panties in a kerfuffle, allow me to explain, because I did say currently produced. So if you're riding a hardtail panhead chopper with a suicide clutch, I will be the first one to concede that your bike is better at being a Harley than a modern Sportster. However, among the current crop of Harley-Davidson models, the Sportster reigns supreme as the Harliest of Harleys. Why? One word: evil. The fully air-cooled Evolution motor that was introduced in the Sportster in 1986 and is still shaking and rattling modern Sportsters today. The Evolution is considered by many the quintessential Harley engine. All of the character, none of the mechanical pitfalls of its predecessors. Harley Big Twins these days are 2 generations past the Evo, and I can confirm, having ridden both the Twin Cam and the Milwaukee 8, that each new generation has lost a little bit more of that character. Oh, they've gained power, but they've also lost sound and vibration, especially the M8. I rode a couple of Harleys last year with the 107 and the 114 motors, and they were great. But they were also eerily smooth and quiet. Not so with the Sportster. Current Sportsters are rubber mounted, true, but a ton of those engine vibes still make their way to the rider, and it's fun to see that big motor dancing in the frame. Have the new Harleys lost some of that character? I hate to say it, but yes. And soon the Sportster, that last holdout from the days of yore, will be gone too. How do I know? Last spring I made an homage to the Sportster video and predicted that the Evo didn't have long left, that European emissions regulations were eventually going to spell the end of the air-cooled Big Twins. And lo and behold, Harley discontinued selling the Sportster line in Europe in 2021. Just call me Nostradamus, although the writing has been on the wall for a while. The Evo's days are numbered because the European market is hugely profitable, and European commenters on this channel confirm that most of the Harleys they see on the roads of Europe are Sportsters. Makes sense. Europeans tend not to travel the huge distances at high speeds on interstates that Americans and Canadians do. They navigate smaller, narrower roads where a Sportster does better than a bagger. And discontinuing an important line like that in one of the most important markets is unacceptable. Harley has to fix this, and now we have some clue as to what their plans may be. Harley is putting out the feelers to its customers, asking their opinions on a couple of pictures that could turn into the next iteration of the Sportster. And the pictures that have received the most attention are these. This is an all-new Sportster, new engine, new frame, new everything. What you're looking at here is the liquid-cooled Revolution Max motor that will power the Pan America and was supposed to power the Bronx, until the Bronx died tragically of COVID. The cylinders sit at 60 degrees instead of the traditional Harley 45 and come in 1250cc in the Pan America and 975cc in the Bronx. Those two motors produce acclaimed by Harley 145 and 115 horsepower respectively. So, is a 145 horsepower Sportster possible? Will it actually live up to the sport in its name? It may already be on the Harley website in the form of that awesome looking custom. The pictures shared by Harley may be the possible base models with the smaller of the 2 liquid-cooled twins. Finally, the Sportster may be able to outrun an Indian Scout, which has proven that consumers will buy liquid-cooled cruisers. It's unlikely that the smaller Sportster will pump out 115 horsepower like the Bronx. It'll probably be tuned for low-end torque. Expect something closer to the Scout's 100, but with this new motor it wouldn't be difficult to produce a Sportster with a little more power and a little less weight than the Scout. Now it must be remembered that this is still only an artist's rendering meant to gauge interest, and as cool as a modern Sportster would be, would it lose that Harliness that I was talking about earlier? Probably. Because there is no way that a 60-degree liquid-cooled V-twin will sound and feel like the old Evo. It simply can't. The architecture will be too different. So would this new Sportster still feel like a Sportster? It may be called a Sportster, but Harley riders are notoriously picky about what bikes they define as true Harleys. The V-Rod was never accepted by the traditionalist crowd, and neither were the street models. What do all those bikes have in common? they're all liquid cooled. Now Indian got away with liquid cooling the Scout and Challenger, but Indian does not have a customer base that is as rabidly traditional as Harley. So as welcome as an updated Sportster would be, the Harley faithful may not buy into it. And that's why Harley has another trick up its sleeve. This grainy shot is another possibility, and it looks a lot closer to the current Sportster. This bike seems to look a lot more like the XR1200, with traditional touches like push rods, empty space around the engine, and a small tank perching on top of the frame. If this bike is to compete in the modern market, it will need the performance of the XR1200 to keep up with the Scout. So which way do you think Harley will go with the next Sportster? An evolution or a new design from the ground up? Will a radical redesign even be a Sportster, or should they call it something new? Which one would you rather see? Drop your comments below. And if the Evo's days are numbered, it may be the end of an era. And while a new Sportster is exciting news, owning a piece of history in the form of one of the last Evo models is also pretty cool. Especially if you can find one for an insanely low price. That story coming up soon.
First ride on the new Harley. Wow. Pretty spanky.
Pretty spanky.
If you're interested in any of the gear that Brooke and I wear or use, or the camera equipment we use to film this channel, the links are below. Everything listed there was bought with our own money, and we are not sponsored by any company. However, the links below are affiliate links, and the channel is paid a small amount for referring you to shop at no additional cost to you. We do not recommend any products that we are not satisfied with ourselves, but we do strongly urge you to do your research and select the correct size for items like helmets and clothing. As always, thanks for watching, your support is greatly appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And whatever you ride, enjoy it. Wave at other bikers no matter what they're riding. We're all part of a brotherhood and sisterhood. Keep the rubber side down, shiny side up, and may the spokes be with you.
Well, you're finally here.
Oh my God!
After a
so heavy.
7-hour ride from picking the bike up. Freezing cold mid-October day.